Hey, good evening, Mom Boss Queens. We are here for another nightly glow up. As y'all see, we kicking it off much later than I normally do. It is after 11 o'clock in the PM, and you know your girl, I'm way past her bedtime. But nonetheless, I'm here to give y'all the goods on tonight. I am your girl, Cami Flowers of the Glow Confidently with Cami Community. I'm your women's empowerment coach and digital creator. Tonight, we are going to be doing some work on self. Yeah, I made this delicious strawberry, lemon, and seeded red grape juice. And I think I made about half a gallon and it's almost gone. Like it is delicious. No sweeteners, no nothing, just straight juices. I will be making some more tomorrow and adding pineapple in it because this is wonderful. But that is not what I have to talk to y'all about tonight. We are going to be talking about reflecting on your strengths and weaknesses and identifying areas of growth. We are on a journey of developing our positive mindsets and just trying to be the best version of ourselves, not just, for us, but also for our loved ones, our babies, those connected to us. So I am going to be going through some self-exploring questions. I have 5 initial questions that we're gonna go through, and then tonight we are gonna do what's called a self SWOT analysis. You know how we normally do a SWOT analysis for business when we are looking at our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. When we're evaluating things within our business, well, we're going to turn that thing around and do the same type of analysis, but we are going to be asking ourselves some key questions so that we can get to the root of us identifying, areas where we can grow and how we can continue on this growth journey to be the best versions of ourselves. I know this for me is something that I have had to sit down and do. I used to have a hard time of just being so critical on myself. I used to had to change the way I looked at things, and it was helpful when I had one of my loved ones who had to help give me some perspective as well. Because when I used to look at myself, I used to be so critical and always focusing on what I don't have or what wasn't right in my life, and I had to change this thinking around and that mindset around so I could focus on what all was right. Because if I spend more time focusing on what is right and building on that, then it gives me room to work on the other stuff. Okay. And it also helps with your whole mindset period. I mean, it turns the negative thoughts and outputs that we put in it, giving into it, and it is turning and making it into something that is positive. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and jump right on into this. I say it every time. I'm not going to be before you long, but I am going to make sure that I'm with you long enough to where you get this. So tonight, get your pad and your pencil, pen, whatever, or your digital notes, however it is that you take notes, get it together. If you need to press pause, but make sure that you get the goods, because I have a lot of information that I am going to be giving you, because these are questions that we need to ask self. Okay. And let me just say this, there is absolutely no reason to do an analysis with on yourself if you are not going to be 100% honest. Now, it's one thing when we have a problem, when we out here lying and telling half truths, which is still a lie, to other folks. But when you can't even keep it 100 with yourself, that's a problem. And these are not questions that you necessarily have to share with anyone. This can be something that you keep for yourself, and they are just the hard questions that you ask yourself. Okay. So the first question we have is, what are my greatest strengths and how have they contributed to my success so far? I want you to write that down and be sure these are questions that I want you to be able to answer. Okay. Number two, what are some recurring challenges and obstacles I face in my personal and professional life? Now, this is a good one. We have got to be more self-aware of things like that are coming up. Like if we find ourselves keep hitting our head on the same thing over and over, we need to look at that thing because it's something that we are doing that is causing us to keep getting to this point. And, that's kind of like us running into a brick wall. Like we'll get so far and then we hit that brick wall. So we need to identify what are some recurring challenges or obstacles that we are facing in personal or professional life. Let me share one professionally that I just realized. So I am in a season of getting myself together. Last year, I went through a phase of, I just went through so much emotional stress, went through finalizing my divorce, just so many things I went through. And I got to a point to where I was tired of myself. I was tired of the emotional strain that I was putting on myself. And the reason why I'm taking ownership of that thing and saying that I'm putting on myself because I can't blame anyone else. You know how a lot of times we try to say we act a certain way because of XYZ, or the reason why we are acting a certain way is because of what someone else did to us. No, I took ownership of that and decided that I was going to make the change in me, that I needed to make the change in me. And I'm not talking about just health wise, talking about mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of that. And so I realized something with me is that I had got to a point where I said, you know what? I don't care what's going on. I'm about to put my head down. I'm about to focus on my business. I am about to get intentional about my prayer life. I'm about to get intentional about my parenting life. I'm about to get intentional about every area of my life. And then I noticed that I would be doing good for a long time, handling business, getting stuff done, seeing results. And then I get to a point where I hit that brick wall. And the brick wall for me was I started to lose motivation. I started to not really know what I was doing from day to day. And y'all, the crazy thing is, how is it that I didn't know what I was doing from day to day when I have a notebook that I had everything that I need written out? I have made plans for everything that I need. I know what I am going to be teaching on, XYZ. So if I already have it written out and already have the blueprint, why am I not able to go further? I discovered what it was is that I am not in a season where it's time to let up. And what does that mean? It's not time to let up, meaning ease off on the goals and the things that I'm working on. We get comfortable to where we start seeing results and we like, oh, okay, I can relax a little bit. No, it's not relaxed time. And so I noticed the reason why I was getting like that is because I started getting a little bit distracted and I had to get realign my focus. And so I had to realize this happens to me over and over. It's a recurring thing. I get so far, I start to get comfortable, and then I take my foot off the gas. It's no time for that. All gas, no brakes in the season, boo. Okay. So that is just one of the reoccurring things professionally. And I guess it kind of dips into the personal realm too, but I started seeing, and I had to take note of that thing. Okay, yours may, I'm sure, something different, or maybe you can relate. But either way, that was one of the obstacles that I had to acknowledge and deal with. Number three, what feedback have I received from others about areas where I can improve? Now, if you are really serious about this journey, go to someone who you can trust, someone who you know is 100, that they are going to give you the honest feedback, not somebody that is going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they finally asked. Let me take this moment to pick their tail apart. No, we don't want that. We want somebody who is going to give us honest feedback, but it be in love, firmly in what we need. Not somebody that's going to be rude about it, or somebody that's going to try to tickle our ears. One thing about me is that I don't believe in putting sugar on ish. I'm trying to stop cussing, so y'all know what that ish meant. I don't put sugar on it. Okay. We need to, and that's the problem. Sometimes folks want everything sugar coated. And sometimes when we are at a certain point in our life, we have to receive that tough love. Because for some of us, if it don't come off tough love, we just run over it, or we bypass it, or we don't even pay it no mind. And I'm in a season of my life, I don't have time to play with nothing or nobody. Like I said, all gas, no brakes. Okay, so find someone that you can trust that is going to sit down and have a real conversation with you. And the next thing I'm going to say to that, you need to pray before. And the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes when people give us the honest feedback and it's not what we want to hear, and they're giving us the truth about us is not always easy to receive. And so I have found myself is when sometimes when I've heard things, or when people point out things to me, that chest puff up, that pride kicks in, and we that the spirit of offense comes about, and it's something, that even though we know it's true, in the back of our mind, we like, dag, how this person gonna tell me XYZ? So what I'm saying is pray before that God gives you a heart to ears to hear and a heart to receive. Okay, because we are wanting to grow, and growth hurts sometimes. Okay, so again, get feedback on areas that you can improve. Okay. Number 4, in what situations do I feel most confident and capable? When do I feel most uncertain or insecure? And again, these questions, you can share them with whomever, or they can be private, but I need y'all to be honest with yourself. Don't do it if you're not going to be honest. Okay, because if you are just going to be writing, y'all know how when we go take those tests for jobs, and it'd be the little silly questions. What would you do if you saw your coworker Jimmy stealing? Do you consider yourself to be XYZ? And we answer the questions according to what we think the job wants to hear. Don't write the answers to this as if somebody is going to be looking at it or grading it or something. Don't write what you would think somebody will want to hear, or what the politically correct answer, or however you want to phrase it, would be. Write the truth. Okay. Number 5, what goals or aspirations do I have for myself, and what steps can I take to move closer to achieving them? What goals do you have? Where do you want to see yourself? We're not even going to do that next 5-year thing. Where do you want to see yourself within the next year? Because that's 12 months, and we can break that thing down to where every 3 months we working. Okay. So we need to get on the good foot, and we need to know, where do you want to see yourself in this next year? And after you get that mapped out and you have a clear understanding of where you want to see yourself in the next year, then you can add on a little bit more and do the next 2 years or 3 years, or jump to the next 5 years. But we want to make sure we are clear on where we're going within this next year. Okay. Okay. So those are the 5 initial questions that we have. The next thing I'm going to be doing is showing, we're going to go through the self SWOT analysis. And first, we're going to touch on why it's even important for us to do this. Okay. Again, we are in a season of growth. In order to grow, we have to be willing to change. We have to be willing to change our minds. We have to be willing to change our behaviors, our actions, all of that. Okay. We cannot stay the same and think that we are going to be able to go to the next level. Okay. And just because I'm saying change, I'm not saying that something is just horribly wrong with you or with me or anything like that. But as long as we are on this earth living, that means there is growing to do. If we are learning something every day, that means we should be growing in areas every day. Okay. I'm trying to be the best version of me that I possibly can be. And I want you to be the best version of you that you can possibly be. Okay. Okay. So this is our self SWOT analysis. Why is a self-analysis important? One, it helps us bring self-awareness. Okay. Self-analysis increases self-awareness by helping us understand our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors more clearly. This awareness allows us to recognize patterns and tendencies that may be holding us back or propelling us forward. So remember, I've talked about self-awareness. There are so many different levels of self-awareness. When I talked about it the other day, we were talking about self-awareness as it pertained to our health and hygiene. Today, we are talking about self-awareness just in our overall, how we feel, our behaviors, all of that. Okay. Number two, identifying areas for improvement. By examining our weaknesses and threats, we can pinpoint areas of our lives that need improvement. This awareness empowers us to take proactive steps to address these areas and work towards personal development. Now, the one thing I am going to say, once you complete your SWOT analysis and you're answering the different questions and stuff, do not get it in your head that you are going to be getting every area completed or every area done in a day, in a week. This takes time. We are going to identify key areas, or you need to, or going to need to identify key areas. What's the things that's on the top of your list that you want to work on improving first, and then work your way through. Give yourself some grace. On Monday, you might wake up, you might hit it hard, you might be doing a wonderful job and everything is going smoothly. And then Tuesday, you might get up and you might start giving it your all, and there may be a bump in the road that day, and you may, might not do so well on Tuesday. And that's fine. It happens. Just have the mindset that, okay, you know what? Tuesday, I didn't reach my full potential or the goals or whatever that it was that I had set for myself. So I'm going to make sure on Wednesday, I do something a little different. I'm going to get up and I'm going to give it my all, and we're going to go from there. Give yourself some grace. Number three, it helps us build on our strengths. Self-analysis also allows us to identify our strengths and opportunities by leveraging these positive aspects of ourselves. We can capitalize on opportunities for growth and success. So when you're looking at your SWOT analysis and you are listing out the things that you are good at, the next thing that we can do is build on how can we build on the things that we are already excelling in. Okay, don't look at your strengths and say, well, I'm already good in that area. There's nothing more that I can do or nothing more that needs to be done. No, we're not going to look at it with the lazy eyes. We're going to look at it with the innovative eyes or creativity eyes or whatever you want to call it. But we're going to look and see how we can further improve on those areas. Okay. Number four, setting goals. Through self-analysis, we can set realistic and meaningful goals based on our self-assessment. These goals serve as milestones for our personal growth journey and provide direction and focus for our efforts. Remember when I said we weren't going to think about 5 years from now? We are going to be intentional about looking to see where we want to be a year from now. So when you determine where you want to be a year from now, then we can take the steps to set the goals on how we are going to accomplish that. And we're going to break it down in little bite-sized pieces. I was supposed to have a webinar this month on goal setting, and I decided to cancel it. However, I am still going to be doing the presentation teaching you about goal setting, the power of goal setting and brain dumping. Okay. And so you're still going to get the goods. So just because the webinar was canceled, I'm still going to get that to you, because I want to make sure that we are able to follow through on the plans that we make. Okay. And then number five, enhancing decision making. Understanding ourselves better enables us to make informed decisions aligned with our values, aspirations, and priorities. It helps us filter out distractions and choose paths that lead to fulfillment and success. I want to read something else. I want to read part of this over to you. Enhancing decision making. Self-analysis is important because it helps us enhance our decision making. It helps us filter out distractions and choose paths that lead to fulfillment and success. The biggest part of that is it helps us filter out distractions. So I want y'all to take a good look at what your habits are every day. List out what it is that you do every day. Even if you have to get a pad and pen and write down, what do you do when you get up? Write down everything that you normally do within the day. Start keeping a little journal or a log, and then looking to see how many of these things were necessary, and how many of these tasks helped me put a good foot forward towards my overall goal. How many of these tasks were time wasters? How many of these tasks or things that I did today, how many of them were just plain out distractions? Okay, so our SWOT analysis, remember, it stands for strengths. The word SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So these are the questions that you need to ask yourself within these, and it's going to help you really do a good self-analysis. So on your strengths, what personal qualities do I excel in? What skills or talents do I possess? What achievements am I proud of? What positive feedback have I received from others about myself? Okay. So when it comes to the strengths is always the stuff that we kind of we can boast about, we feel good about answering and stuff like that. But it's this next part that sometimes it's hard for us to be honest with ourselves about it. But we in a season of change, we in a season of growth, so that means we're gonna be honest with self, so self can get over the hurdles and stuff that we currently got going on, so we can get to the better side of things. Okay, so weaknesses: what areas do I need to improve in personally? What habits or behaviors do I struggle to overcome? What are my insecurities or doubts about myself? Keep it real, queens. Keep it real. What limitations do I recognize in myself? One of the insecurities and doubts that I used to always have about myself is being concerned what other people think. Being scared to be free to be me. And you know what? It took me many years to get past that. Like I said, this last year has been very transformative for me. And so within this last year, I have, my mindset has changed. I've grown in so many ways. And like I said, it's all gas, no brakes. I gives not nan care what nobody thinks anymore. Because you know what? When it comes to me, my household, my life, nobody has to live this life but me. And I got to a point where I was tired of just being here. I was tired of just getting up and it being the same thing over and over, work, the same routine. I don't want to just be existing. I'm trying to live and live to the fullest. There is so much for not just for me to experience, but there is so much even for my son to experience. There is so much more to come. Okay, life is, we supposed to live, we supposed to be able to get out, explore, and enjoy all the beauty and everything that God has for us. We're not supposed to, we are royalty. If you don't want to claim it, I claim it for me and mine. I'm royalty. I'm a peculiar treasure. Okay, so we have to get past all these things that we struggling with and start walking like we royalty. Okay, opportunities. What personal growth opportunities are available to me? What free resources? A lot of times, some of the reasons why we be having excuses, why we not excelling, why we not able to do XYZ is because we try to say, well, I don't have the money for it. I'm not able to do it. I want to learn how to do XYZ, but I can't go to school. Baby, this day and age, that's no excuse. There are so many free resources out here to be able to assist you with learning and growing in just about any area that it is that you are trying to grow in. Whether you are going on I can't even think of the site now, but it is a site where people go and teach classes and stuff like that. And sometimes you can find them free, sometimes you can find them for very low prices. But they classes on different subjects. Some of the people even have certifications where you can have at the end of the class. YouTube, there is so much out there on YouTube that you can learn. There are, and it's this, I'm talking about the stuff for free for those who say that money is the issue. Okay. There are podcasts. If it's a certain thing that you're wanting to learn about, there are podcasts. So and then if you say, well, I'm busy and I'm working, I can't necessarily do a class or whatever, find a podcast, put it in your earbuds and listen. So if it is something that you are really wanting to do, you'll make time for it. Okay. And trust me when I say that you are worth the investment. Are there new experiences or challenges I could pursue? Are there positive changes in my environment or relationships that I could leverage? Are there personal goals or aspirations I could work towards? So for threats, we have, what obstacles or challenges do I face in my personal life? Are there negative influences or distractions that could hinder my personal growth? Are there changes in my circumstances or relationships that could affect me negatively? And are there personal fears or uncertainties that I need to address? Again, we're not going to sugarcoat this thing, and we're not going to be lying to ourselves. In all of these, we need to answer honestly. But there's weaknesses and the threats, be 100, because these are two key areas where we are identifying the things that have the most potential for growth within self, the things that we really need to hone in on and work on. Okay. Be honest with self. Okay. I hope that y'all got something from tonight. Um, just as I have given this to y'all, I also have walked through these questions and will be walking through them again because, again, all gas, no brakes. I'm trying to be the best version of me. And the only way that I can do that is if I am honest with self and taking the time to have an honest conversation with self. Um, and like I have been telling y'all, I have one of the key areas that I am very proud that I have grown in is my emotional health, emotional well-being. And I had to learn how to stop overthinking. And I have something that I'll be presenting to y'all soon, because we're going to talk about that for us overthinkers. And that is something that I still battle with it, but I've gotten better. I had to learn that it's not always about me. Sometimes, I used to overthink situations when it came to just about anything. Sometimes it's good to analyze stuff, but other times we be doing the most. It could be something so simple. I'm gonna give y'all an example of ways that we can overthink stuff. We can call somebody, and you know how you can tell when somebody will forward your call, or even if they don't answer, whatever the case, and then that person don't call us back. Then you sitting up here overthinking, oh, they got an attitude with me, or they feeling this type of way. It could be that person got busy, that they got other stuff going on. And you know how sometimes these cell phones can be a little raggedy. It's been times where a person to say they didn't call me, and I'm like, my phone ain't rung. Nonetheless, I'm not saying that you ain't called, but I know my phone ain't rung. It's been times where I've called people and I've been like, I called you or whatever. They be like, I ain't got no missed calls from you. It happens. It's been times where I've looked in my phone and I just so happened to see a missed call, and I'm like, I do not even remember my phone ringing. How do I got a missed call from this person? Anywho, stop overthinking stuff. Okay, but that's for another whole video. I hope y'all was blessed on tonight, because we are reflecting on our strengths and weaknesses and identifying areas of growth. Okay. Um, if y'all need the questions again, what I'm going to do because I know I gave y'all a lot on tonight. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these everything together in like a little PDF or what have you, and I'll make it as a downloadable, and you'll be able to either go to my website or I'll have a link in the bio. It won't be tonight because once this gets loaded and posted, Girly is getting ready for the BED Club. But I'm going to make sure that these are available because I know I gave you a lot, but I want to make sure that you are able to go back and get these. And you can also always go back, pause the video and everything. But I know a lot of times, having that document or that PDF or whatever is also helpful to have for your reference. Okay. So I love y'all. I want y'all to know that you do matter, that you are worthy, that you are important, that you are needed. If you have not already subscribed to the Glow Confidently with Cami community, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go to my website, www.camiflowers.com. You see it scrolling at the bottom of my screen. Go ahead and subscribe to the community. There are going to be a lot of things coming up that I will be exclusively sharing with my community that will not be privy to those in the social media streets. Also, if y'all have not noticed, every so often, we have these glitches with social media where they go down. So what are we going to do? And this is to my fellow business owners. Get in position to where you are not lost if social media just crashes and it's more than a couple of hours. Don't get so caught up in letting social media be the only way that you have to reach your audience. Get that mailing list together. So even if social media decides to go bye-bye for a long hiatus or whatever, you still have another way to communicate with your audience, okay? So y'all go to my website and subscribe to the community, okay? I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed night.